Recognize the sponsor of this legislation, the gentlewoman from the District of Columbia, Ms. Eleanor Holmes Norton.
Thank you, Chairwoman Maloney. Along with the citizens of the District of Columbia, I greatly appreciate the hearing we held last September and this markup today, appropriately the same week we celebrate the birthdays of President Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, two champions of the rights of the residents of the District of Columbia. This has been a historic year for D.C. statehood, culminating in today's markup. When I introduced the bill on the first day of Congress, I did so with a record 155 original co-sponsors. Today, the bill has a record 223 co-sponsors, enough to pass in the House with co-sponsors alone. Moreover, we also have a record 35 co-sponsors of the Senate version of the bill, and we are especially grateful to its sponsor, Senator Tom Carper. Over 100 national organizations with strong records of getting bills passed in the Senate are already preparing to help us take the fight to the Senate. Last March, the House passed H.R. 1, Representative Sarbanes for the People Act, which contained extensive findings supporting D.C. statehood, marking the first time in American history either chamber of Congress has endorsed D.C. statehood. Polls show that most Americans think the residents of the nation's capital have the same rights they enjoy. Even some members of Congress may not know that the district ranks first in the nation in federal taxes paid to support the national government, making the residents of the nation's capital the only full tax-paying Americans not treated as equal citizens. The district pays more in federal taxes in 22 states. D.C. has a higher per capita personal and gross national product than any state. The district's unequal status can be rectified only by our statehood bill. The district's local economy has become one of the strongest in the nation. Today, the district is more than equal to states financially. Its $15.5 billion budget is larger than the budget of 12 states. For 2 decades, the district has had balanced budgets and clean audit opinions. Moody Investors Service has given the district's general obligation bonds its highest rating of AAA. Its per capita personal income expenditures are higher than those of any state, and its total personal consumption expenditures are greater than those of 7 states. The population of the district continues to grow, a year ago passing 700,000 for the first time since 1975. The population of the district is larger than that of Wyoming and Vermont, and is in league with 7 states that had a population under 1 million in the last census. D.C. residents have fought and died in every American war, including the war that led to the creation of the nation, the Revolutionary War. The district suffered more casualties than a number of states during the wars of the 20th century, but I could not vote on final passage of the National Defense Authorization Act last year. The veterans of the nation's capital have helped get voting rights for people throughout the world, but continue to come home without those same rights, or even the same rights as veterans with whom they served. Our statehood bill is clearly constitutional. Congress has the authority to make Washington Douglas Commonwealth a state under Article 4, Section 3, Clause 1. Its power to admit new states to the Union, combined with its Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 power over the seat of government. The Congressional Research Service and even conservative legal scholar and practitioner Via Din, who served in the Department of Justice during the George W. Bush administration, have issued expert opinions that H.R. 51 is constitutional. Congress can carve out areas where D.C. residents live as the 51st state and reserve other areas as the national capital. The Congress has 2 choices. It can continue to exercise undemocratic authority over 700,000 American citizens who live in the nation's capital, treating them, in the words of Frederick Douglass, as aliens, not citizens, but subjects. Or it can live up to the nation's promise and ideals end taxation without representation and pass the Washington, D.C. Admission Act. Thank you very much, Chairwoman Maloney, for your leadership.